Hey guys, and welcome back to Serious Sam Classics Revolution. Today we're going to be playing the third level of the first encounter campaign on I Am Ugh-Zan difficulty, and we're actually not going to be killing every enemy this time around. We're going to be killing 241 out of 243. And the reason for that's a little bit complicated, but it can be shortened to there are two enemies which are impossible to spawn. And I'm sort of tempted to actually make a video on how spawn numbers and things work, because the entire story just requires a lot of explanations and opening the level editor and all that stuff. But anyway, we're just gonna keep going. There is a blue biomechanoid. It shoots lasers when it starts attacking us, but when you move sort of circle around it, then often it won't ever actually hit you. Which, like, even when you're that close to it, most of its attacks won't actually hit you. I just killed that guy who spawns over there. And that spawns another one. And on unusual difficulties, you can actually just shoot a single rocket and he'll die. But since this is I Am Ugh-Zan, you need just a little bit more. There is a invisible Gnar and a visible Gnar. The visible Gnar is a little bit weird because it spawns in the floor. And then it just sort of finds its way to you. It's actually, it's supposed to spawn over there behind a wall, but it doesn't. And I'm not sure why. I think, like, it's weirdly in the floor in the level editor, and that's why it just sort of appears in the floor and then walks through walls, and it's all a bit odd, really. Anyway, this guy spawns another blue biomechanoid over here. Again, we can just take care of it very easily once it stops shooting with the knife, because this level is sort of a knife showcase level, in all honesty, because you can kill near enough everything with the knife, and it's actually quite effective, especially on this difficulty where every one of your guns just needs slightly more. There's a secret area over here. There's a bunch of ways you can actually get on top of this, but you need to actually touch this area for the secret area to trigger. You can actually just reach this area in other ways, but that line over there is the secret area trigger. So if you're missing this one, you might have missed it because you jumped on top of an enemy here or something and ended up here in some other way. So Gnars can actually fly as well. It's not something they always do, but sometimes they sort of retract their arms and legs and start flying towards you, which is something you need to be a little careful of, because they can pretty much be anywhere at all. And if you're not ready for that, then you just constantly hit a noise and suddenly you're being attacked out of nowhere, which is always a bit scary, but we got through it. You have to walk through this area, otherwise this clear skeleton doesn't spawn. Again, it is possible to get here by just jumping on top of this torch or something. It's a little bit fiddly, but it's not exactly difficult. And I'm just quickly checking we're at 28 kills here, because that's pretty much the only place in this level where I'm never really quite sure. Because there's also an enemy that spawns over there, but he sometimes walks there, and enemies can get stuck, and it's all just a bit fiddly. But we kill that guy, we move on. You can pretty much pick up near enough every 1 health and armor power up in this level, which is kind of odd, because usually it'll spawn enemies, but in this level it's largely the 1 health and like shield power-ups, which don't actually do anything. There's a bunch of enemies above us. I'm just gonna ignore them for a bit and just kill this clear skeleton and that particular beheaded rocketeer, because that one spawns a whole bunch more, and then we can just take care of them all at once. It's a little bit easy. This is also a level where I'm not really going to focus on my health all that much, because there's a lot of it. There's absurd amounts of health in this level, and same for armor actually, and the hardest part of this level, you'll have maximum armor, so I'm really not worried. There's a 100 health power up over there. I'm going to grab it a little bit later, just because even though there is that much health on the level, I like to have my health ready for the more difficult parts again, so that's just how I'm going to do it. That guy's on fire, so I'm going to be a little bit careful here. Trying not to get caught on fire. And hope that everything goes okay. That's a very suspicious wall. And when you walk up the stairs, a bunch of clear skeletons spawn. Well, not really spawn. They're just always there, just behind that wall forever until you release them from their little tomb. But again, the knife is the strongest weapon in the world, and we can take it on very easily. You might have seen me slip around for a while there, and even though I didn't take damage, again, it is possible to get affected by the special enemies in this level. Even if you don't technically take damage from them, it still counts if you touch them. Which is why I was a little bit concerned when I saw that guy standing around the corner, because I could have died to him, and that would have been unfortunate. Now, even though I just said that the 1 health power-ups are safe, they're actually not. This one actually just closes the door and spawns a bunch of clear skeletons. But as long as you don't miss with the knife, you can just exactly take them down in this little corner over here without worrying too much about them. Plus, there's only 3 that spawn. So you can just open the door again after a while, as it does automatically, and move on to this room with a 1 health power-up, which runs away. And more enemies. Really, the 1 health power-up story was just a big fat lie, but there are more than usual here. There's going to be 10 enemies that spawn here. If you don't miss, then this is not a problem. If you miss with the knife, it gets a lot scarier, because then you have to like fight more than 2 enemies at a time, because they are just on a timer of like 2.5 seconds, and if you miss, then they're gonna spawn before you have time to clear the rest of them, and that's just a bit worrying a lot of the time, and I don't like to deal with it. So here's a secret area, which again, you can go from this torch up here and skip a whole bunch of the level if you so desire, but I prefer to do it here because there's really, we're trying to kill as much as possible at this point, and that's what we're going for. The secret health is also a secret area, and unfortunately I didn't quite make the jump. The torches in the classic version are a bit fiddly, but in the HD version they're actually really easy to jump on top of. But for some reason in this version they're not, and it doesn't really matter though. So I just jumped there, and had I not jumped there, this door would have closed and spawned some more enemies. But you can, in the classic version, quite easily jump over that spawn trigger over there. I'm a little bit concerned about all the enemies that spawn, but you can just hide behind this wall as she's shooting and just take care of all the headless kamikazes over here. And again, we're going to show off the old knife. The kamikazes don't like the knife that much and just explode in your face, but this one, you can attack her once, and then at the 3rd hit, move backwards, so you avoid her melee attack. She makes the sound of it's going all squish, but it fortunately doesn't actually hit us. And you can do that with just about all of the orange ones. As long as you just move back when she does her melee attack, she'll never actually hit you. And she'll also, if you're that close to her, she'll only try to use her melee attack as well. Which is great, because it means that we don't have to worry about a thing. And that one moves slightly forward, but doesn't actually like try and finish the job at all. She just sort of stands there forever now. So again, we can just do the exact same thing we just did. Move back on the 3rd hit, and swooshy swooshy, no problems. The knife is the best weapon in the game. There's a rocket launcher over there, and there's a numerous amounts of ways you can grab it. One of which is just rocket jumping, but the other is a teleporter right here, which is pretty hard to see, but it is the 2nd instance of a secret rocket launcher, and it is just a really good weapon. This level actually has ammo for the rocket launcher as well, without it being in a secret area, which is actually kind of unusual, because most secret weapons in Serious Sam games, you just don't get ammo for them at all, and you just don't really get the chance to use them all that much until you find them in a non-secret area. But with the rocket launcher, they made an exception for that, which is unusual. Now, there's 2 arachnids. I don't actually remember the name anymore randomly, but I think they're arachnoids. You can just shoot them like this if you so desire. You can kill these guys with the pistol, but the way the level's designed, you can perfectly just sort of scoot around these pillars without really having to worry about them. And that was another one of those ones that had retracted their arms and legs so they could fly. Don't pick up this 1 health power up just yet, because it gets a little bit dicey if you do. But we're just going to go around, stand over here, and then we're just going to jump and slice her in the face a whole bunch of times. Because she doesn't actually attack until she properly sees you, and for some reason when you jump there, she never does. Now, stunning her is kind of important, and I forgot that if you kill the one on the left side over there, it actually spawns that blue biomechanoid, so you probably want to be careful of that as well. You can do this quickly enough that you don't, like, the moment you kill this one, that's pretty much the point where that one will spawn, and you can take them on one by one, but I was a little bit too slow there, unfortunately. Gonna grab this. Didn't grab it before because it spawns these 2 guys, but it actually spawns a little bit more as well. It spawns that there skeleton over there, which I'm gonna lure over here to take care of him. And I like to do the luring thing because there's one over here as well. And it's all spawned by a singular health power-up, which is, it's nice, isn't it? It's just real nice of the game to do things like that. So, we can either go left or right. And we're gonna go over here first because there's more enemy spawns. This one spawns a clear skeleton. I think it spawns on Gnar as well, if I remember correctly, but he spawns him like over there, and he sometimes kind of has a hard time of finding you, and it's It's a little bit of a sad tale, this enemy. But we're just going to shoot him because I'm too lazy to walk all the way around. And then there is this one, which spawns a little bit more things than I would like to deal with. Now, we're just going to grab this and shoot that one so she gets stunned. And we're going to run all the way over here for a particular reason. And those 3 reasons would be that particular reason. There are 3 clear skeletons that slowly walk towards that room the moment you grab that 10 health power-up. And I don't like to deal with them at the same time, so we just decided to jump down instead. For some reason they're stuck. Usually they actually manage to find their way to you, but this time around they've decided that they don't actually know what they're doing. So I'm just going to take the pistol and slowly murder them to death. Because I don't really want to get too close in this direction because she's still there. And while the knife is pretty good at stunning her, the shotgun is as well. And I like to use the shotgun from time to time to make it look like it's still more useful than the knife on occasions, and that is just one of those few occasions where it is on this difficulty. There's a clear skeleton to your that way. You can actually jump on top of him and grab that health bar up over there, but there are other ways of grabbing it as well, and I'm going to use the other ways because I don't really want to have that health bar up until I leave this room later on. Now, there's a clear skeleton around the corner. I'm going to walk backwards instead because that guy, that is a mean guy. He takes a while to spawn as well. Like, you walk over and then it takes like a full second before he appears. And it's very easy to get overwhelmed by that guy, and I don't like it. But fortunately, I am aware of everything that moves, so we can just go our own merry way. So another health power up, another arachnoid. This one we can again take down with the knife, the same way we took down one of the other ones by just going backwards on the 3rd swipe. And we no longer have to worry about anything. We don't need no secret weapons from other levels. We could just knife literally everything. And it's nice. It's nice that the knife is actually this good, because it actually makes this difficulty a lot more viable if you were trying to beat this difficulty without secret areas, which it's ridiculous. Like, I originally considered doing this without secret areas, but it's just such a hassle sometimes that I figured I'd just do the safe route. So here's an enemy. You might not see him, and that's because he doesn't exist, but he does count as an enemy spawn. And that is reason 1 of 2 why we are only getting 241 enemies instead of 243. And there is basically nothing that tells him to spawn in the entire level. But the enemy spawn is there, and because the enemy spawn is there, it counts as an enemy. And that's why we're not gonna be able to kill it, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll be going into a little bit more detail, probably in a separate video, because it's just a long story to explain a bunch of details. Touching the staircase spawns a bunch of dudes. I touched the right wall over there, so only one of them attacks me, and then we're just gonna slowly walk up, because there's a bunch of kamikazes over here, and I don't like to deal with them at the same time as everyone else. They are beheaded, so they can only see them when their head can actually see you, which is convenient. And that guy doesn't even see you when you kill his friend next to him, which is odd. There is actually a thing where in the level editor, you can tell an enemy that is deaf and actually cannot hear any sounds, because, you know, that's what deaf means. And that is why some enemies will be able to, notice you immediately when you shoot nearby them, and other enemies just cannot hear you at all. Which is actually kind of neat. I never knew that until now, but here you go. I'm going to use my secret weapon to pick up this thing and kill that guy, because that one is a little bit of a nuisance, and we need to pick up that 1 armor power-up to open up a secret door later in the level. It doesn't actually tell you about that at all, but if you don't pick up that 1 armor, it's actually blocked off entirely. So this one's safe. And then there is this area where you can jump up here if you just walk into it and press the jump button pretty much immediately when you touch the wall. You can also just sort of go around like this, because there's actually a spawn trigger at the end of that staircase, but I kind of want to have this armor first because things might go wrong, and I'm always a little bit concerned. But spawn dudes, there we go. Ignore those guys, knife everyone in the face, because that's what we do around here. I don't know where the other clear skeleton is. I think he might be down there. Sometimes they jump off here and then they don't know how to get back up again. They can if they use their lunge attack, which is a little bit concerning trying to do it like that, but it all worked out in the end. And then finally, we have this armor shard over here, which is going to spawn some dudes in this direction. Oh, okay, that's actually really bad. I don't think I actually caught fire there, weirdly enough, unless it was like really short or something, but it didn't look like I actually caught that much fire. That took a lot of health. And I would have preferred had that not happened. But, you know, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna grab this, which seems a little bit overkill to grab 50 health when I'm at 96, but whatever. This would be the place which would be blocked off by this block over here. It actually blocks the door. I think you can rocket jump over it, but I'm not sure if you can grab the secret trigger, because I think this thing is blocking it, but it might just be this entire hallway thing. I'm not 100% sure about that one. But because we grabbed that one armor power up, we can grab all these things. We get them some extra rockets. We get some extra Tommy gun ammo, which is great because Tommy gun is really quite useful for the next area as well. And we grab a secret shield. It was a red one, so it fills us up to 200 instantly. And it also spawns 2 more dudes, which is that guy and one slightly up ahead. This guy you won't even see if you just take the same path back again. But the other one is actually kind of in an awkward angle if you do, because he's right there around the corner, and it's very easy to just be like, alright, I'm gonna go to the next battle, and then just get, like, attacked by this dude without you even realizing he's there. And that is kind of a jerk move on his part. So, touching this door spawns a bunch of dudes. I'm gonna be killing a couple of them from here. There is kind of a big battle thing going on in here, and I don't like to deal with them all at once. So, we're gonna do this tactfully. Tacticfully? Is that a word? With tactics. We're gonna use tactics to clear this room, because it seems like a good idea. First of all, we're just gonna be standing here for a while and just shoot killer skeletons. It doesn't take that long, but it's like 3 of them, I think. And for some reason, their hitbox has some trouble with this, like, angled wall over here, and it tends to just hit the wall instead of us, which is great. It takes a while for this door to close, the one next to me. You have to walk pretty far into the room, like all the way over here before it actually closes. So you're not like in too much trouble if you start walking forward immediately, because the battle doesn't really start until you walk either to that double-barreled shotgun over there. That was a weird jump he just did. I would have expected him to wait longer, but you either have to grab the double-barreled shotgun or walk far enough forward. I am screwed. And that's also kind of a weird one. Even though that enemy was on fire, he died, and even though he ran into me, I didn't catch fire. And I think it's actually the same with the marsh hoppers, which are like the frog type enemy, which is odd because they do touch you, but I guess their like damage hitbox again is different from their like fire hitbox, which actually makes them a lot less dangerous than you would imagine, because I mean, enemies that are designed to just run into you and literally do nothing else except die, you would expect that to be the problematic part in this area when they're on fire, but they're actually not at all, which is odd. I'm going to touch basically everything here. I'm going to touch every single power-up outside of the double-barreled shotgun, because that's going to start the battle. And the main reason for this is, one, we're still trying to kill as many enemies as possible, and just about everything here spawns a clear skeleton, like a singular one. But it's also just, if things go wrong, then actually grabbing the power-up means that the enemy won't spawn again. Like, as long as you touch the power-up, the enemy will spawn, and now that I have touched it, it won't spawn again, and I can just safely grab it when things go haywire. So this is just about the threshold of where I can stand without starting the big battle in this area. If you go past this row of pillars over here, like the second to last one, that's when the battle starts, which is why I'm not picking up that health power up just yet, and probably won't until we're actually finished here, because most of the fighting is going to happen in that side of the just room. But we're near enough done with touching all the things, and then we can start fighting people. I think we're probably fine to just pick up the shotgun at this point, but I like to be super safe, because this is actually kind of a difficult area. And there is still a clear skeleton alive somewhere. There he is. I think it was that shotgun ammo that does it. And they spawn pretty erratically as well. Like, it is predetermined where they spawn, but like picking up a health there can spawn someone on that side of the room. It's quite odd, and they don't immediately see you either. But we're gonna grab this double-barreled shotgun, which we already have since it's level 1, but this is like the first non-secret area to grab it. Spawns 5 dudes over there, and this is just basically where the battle starts, and you can safely walk past that row of pillars if you so desire. I have no real desire to do that, so I won't. We're gonna kill these 2 Gnars, and then we are going to go back to the knife, because the knife is again the greatest weapon in the game. and should never be underestimated. And it's clear skeleton time. There's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of clear skeletons that are quite good at hitting people, and I want to try and avoid that as much as possible, obviously. They spawn at pretty low numbers, but sometimes there's like 4 at the same time, and other times there's like 2, and sometimes I just run around for a while as well without seeing like that guy was doing on the other side of the room over there. Which is a bit of an issue, because it means that they can start building up without actually attacking you, and then attack you all at once. And obviously, that's a bit of a problem. I got hit by the ice guy, which is a little bit sad, but at least he was not on fire, I guess, because that just makes me slip around for a bit, and it doesn't really affect too much. But as you can see, suddenly there's just a whole bunch at the same time rather than just like 1 or 2. And it can be quite dangerous. I don't really care about the range attack too much because, again, it's the lunge that does the most damage. And it also can trap you. Like, you can get body blocked by these guys as well. And if you get body blocked when you're trying to dodge something, then you take damage and then you die. And that's bad. I'm actually kind of low on health right now, so I might take a little detour to one of the armor power-ups and health power-ups as well. But I don't know yet. It's not really a good time right now with all these dudes still alive. But I think there's a health power up over here I can grab. Or at least like there we go. An armor power up, that's good enough. And there should be some health power ups as well. Here are the marsh hoppers, which I was talking about. Again, this is a good time to have the Tommy gun from the previous level, the secret one. Because marsh hoppers, they do actually die in 2 hits on this difficulty, which is something I didn't notice until I played around with it. But they are kind of an issue that you want to deal with as easily as possible. And the Tommy gun currently is just the best weapon for it. Later on, you get a different gun, which might be better. The rocket launcher is pretty good for it as well, but I think it's overkill. I don't think you need a rocket launcher to deal with these guys, especially not in these low numbers right now. There's another clear skeleton. He's pretty bad, though, so we're just going to ignore him. And there was actually a big spawn. He spawned near the exit of this level, which is over there, actually, which we will be dealing with in just a moment. It is possible to kill this one with a knife as well. I'm not sure if I want to risk it with this health, though. I'm actually genuinely uncertain because my health is kind of low. If I screw this up, I'm basically dead, and then I have to start over the entire level, and I don't really want to do that. But simultaneously, it is kind of fun, though, isn't it? So we're just going to run at this one. This one works a little bit differently with when you have to walk back, because she doesn't get stunned as quickly, and I shouldn't have picked that up immediately. I'm going to actually shoot these guys with a rocket launcher because I'm a little bit concerned about a clear skeleton being somewhere, and I'm not actually 100% sure where. Because that was one of the health power-ups I hadn't touched yet, and I'm actually uncertain where that one spawned. So I figured I would just take care of that one with the rocket launcher because we have access to it, and we might as well. And I'm just going to shoot her a couple times so she gets stunned. She's going to shoot at me again. You can actually take her down with the knife quite easily as well, but whatever. We have a shotgun. We can do whatever we want. So before we finish up here, we're going to go all the way to the right over here where there is a dude. There's a clear skeleton all the way on the left as well, which spawned earlier, I think from that health power-up actually. And I think the shotgun shells that I picked up near the end there were actually the cause of this guy spawning. And I'm just going to grab that one. There's only one enemy remaining. But before we talk about that singular enemy, I'm just going to grab some armor, some health, and what have you. And there is another enemy either here or here, which never spawns. And I'm sad about that because that's reason number 2 we're not killing everyone. So just going to touch that staircase. There we go. Stun that one. Shoot her again with the shotgun because we might as well. We've been using the knife long enough. We might be using the shotgun every now and then now. Even though the knife is better in every single regard, except range. And there's another 50 health there if you need it. I don't think there is more armor here. I'm not sure if there's any more armor in the room, but I can't really be bothered to check either. We are currently at 241 kills, which I can tell by the score, because I know how much points I'm going to get. I don't think that's accurate for every playthrough, because I think there's a time bonus, but whatever. I know what I need for my playthrough, and that's what matters. And that ends this level where we get the second element, which is the wheel. I actually don't know what any of the elements are. Originally, I thought there was one that was like wind, but I don't know what this will be. Water, maybe? Could be water, I guess, because it's like a water wheel that you would use for boats, but I don't know. It could be anything. It could just be a stair. It could just be the element of cars. I have genuinely no idea. But that's that. We have missed 2 enemies. We got every single secret area in the level, and a little bit lower than the estimated time, but I like to ramble on about things, and, you know, it just happens. But that is that. That was the third level in the game. Next time we play, we are going to do Valley of the Kings, which going to be a good one. That's actually where we're going to get our rocket launcher for the first time, and it's going to be exciting. And I hope to see you guys there. Bye-bye.